Hey guys, it's Daniela, and today is April 28th. Almost done with VEDA. So today I was thinking I'd tell you a little bit about some of my childhood memories, because those are nice to think about sometimes. Um, the first time I saw snow was when I was in the second grade, which I know is still pretty young. My family had recently moved to Virginia from El Salvador, and that was a pretty neat experience because before we moved to Virginia, uh, and before that first snowfall, I had seen snow in cartoons and on TV, but I never really knew what it would be like. And I actually remember in first grade, we had this little art project or assignment to do where we all got a black piece of construction paper and some chalk and we had to draw a snow scene. And I remember I drew my little scene out, and at the end of this, when I finished up, I decided to add a little moon in the corner because I usually, at that stage, whenever I would draw a scene, I always drew the sun. But my thought was, I knew that it could only snow when it was very cold. So I thought, if the sun was out, the sun would melt all the snow because this is a big ball of fire. So obviously it could only snow when it was nighttime. So my first time seeing snow in Virginia, I quickly realized that, oh, it can snow when it's daytime too. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure my mom came into our rooms to wake us up, and she was super excited because she grew up in Florida her whole life, so she never got to see snow until she was already an adult. So we spent the day making snow angels and building snowmen, and that was just a really fun memory. Let's see what other memories. Maybe I can think of some childhood misconceptions. Because when I was little, like I mentioned earlier, I thought it couldn't snow when the sun was out because it would melt it. Because I used to think that the sun was literally just a big ol'. Oh, I hear some sort of animal. I thought it was just this big ball of fire up in the sky. Didn't have any bigger concept than that. Um, Also in second grade, that's the year I got my glasses, and I'm not someone who really does change very easily. Obviously, now that I'm older and I'm an adult and I've gone through high school and stuff, I can accept change more easily now, and it's easier to deal with. But when I was a small child, I was fairly stubborn about it. So when it was first revealed that I might need glasses, I was super opposed to the idea. I had been at the kitchen counter, and like the living room and the kitchen were both like this big open area. So you could see the TV from the counter, and there was something on TV. It was the show Theodore Tugboat. And my dad asked if I could see the name on one of the ships, and I was like, no. And my parents, I could see that they got concerned, and I was like, crap, I should have lied. So then they took me to get an eye exam, and my first thought was like, I'll fake my way through this because, that's possible. And then they determined that I needed glasses, and I refused to pick a pair of frames out because I was like, if I don't pick one, I won't have to wear glasses, which was also not true. And my main reason with like being so afraid of having to wear glasses, getting glasses and having to wear them to school is because I had recently read the Arthur story called Arthur's Eyes, where he first gets glasses. And that was also the year that the TV show Arthur came out, and so I'd probably seen the episode too, where Arthur gets glasses for the first time, and it was also when he was in second grade. And then the first day he wore glasses to school, I think he was actually excited to get them. But then he wore them to school, and all of his friends made fun of him. They all called him Four Eyes. They all laughed at him. And my logical thought process was, well, Arthur had friends, and they all made fun of him when he got glasses. I just moved here. I don't have friends yet, so they're definitely going to make fun of me. And I was very shy and timid as a child. I didn't do very well with the idea of getting made fun of. So I had to come up with a plan to not have to wear my glasses to school. So, that morning, I assume it was a Monday morning because it was whatever. It was the day I would have to wear my glasses to school for the first time. And I got up and I came up with my plan. My mom is pretty punctual, and when I was growing up, we would always leave school for school like fairly early so we could get there, not right on time, but early enough. And I knew that she wouldn't deviate from that plan. And across the street from my house, sort of in between two of the houses across the street, there was this sort of little pile of sand. I don't really know where it came from. Maybe it was for some construction stuff that got left over. And my brother and I and some of the kids in the neighborhood, we used to like playing there sometimes. So I put together my plan. Shortly after I finished breakfast, at that point I hadn't even put my glasses on yet. I had this little fanny pack that my parents got me to wear so I could keep my glasses in there if I wasn't wearing them, because my vision wasn't as bad as it is now. So I said to my mom, "Hey mom, I'm gonna go outside just for a minute." And she's like, "Okay honey, but don't take too long because we gotta get to school." I was like, "Okay." So I went outside with my glasses, hid it in my little pouch, looked both ways, ran across the street, head over to the sand pile, dug a hole, tossed in my glasses, buried them, and looked back both ways, crossed the street, and went back inside. And then I was like, "Oh." Obviously I waited a decent amount of time so my mom wouldn't be too suspicious. And I said, "Mom, I don't know where my glasses are." And she said, "Oh, okay, well, honey, we're going to have to go to school right now, but when we get home, we're going to look for them." And I was like, yes, I did it. It helped that I was the really quiet child who generally did not really get into trouble, because my mom probably was not going to suspect me of being involved in the mysterious disappearance of my glasses. So I went to school that day, and I felt like a winner because nobody saw me in my glasses, but I did have to move closer to the board because I couldn't really see it. Then my mom picked me up and we came home, and she was like, "All right, let's look around for your glasses. I'll look in the bathroom, you look in your room." So we must have been looking at other parts of the house, because it's not like I would have been in my room that long. So she was in the bathroom, which was right across from my room, and she had her back turned. And I used that as my opportunity, snuck out of my room, and it was a one-story house, so it's easy to get to the front door. So ran across the street, and I was like, please let my glasses still be there. Dug the hole where I had buried them. They were still there. Pulled them out, went back across the street, and went into my room. And this is how hard it was for me to lie in general. I had a blanket at the foot of my bed, and I lifted them up a little bit and stuck my glasses under the blanket and then pulled them out. My mom was not even in the room at this point. Pulled out my glasses and said, "Oh, Mom, I found my glasses." And she came in and I said, "They were under my blanket." And she looked at them and she was like, "Oh, these are really dusty." And I paused, I froze for a second because I was like, she knows. And then she just said, "Let's go clean them off." And I had this feeling that she knew but wasn't saying anything. And it wasn't until 14 years later, when I was a junior in college, I wrote a fictional story of that account, and I told my mom, "Yeah, do you remember blah, 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 when I buried my glasses?" And she was like, "What?" So apparently she really had no idea. And anyway, that's the story of how I first got my glasses. I did end up wearing them to school the next day because I was like, I can't keep this up. I'll definitely get caught. So, didn't try and pull that one again. I feel like I was pretty smart as a child. So that's my VEDA video. It's pretty long. Sometimes I can ramble a little bit, but I like that story. Friday, Saturday, 2 more days left. I got this, and it's the weekend too, which I am so ready for. I'm exhausted. Bye.